Coach Stone Podcast.
I can't see where you coming from, but I know just what you running from. And what matters in the who's baddest brother. Won't you stop it falling from your level?
Coach Stone Podcast number 38. I want to thank everyone for listening to Coach Stone Podcast. I want to thank JC Hawk Radio, JC Hawk Sports Network, and BJ for this great opportunity. If you ever miss an episode of any of my podcasts, you can listen to them on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, Google Play under JC Hawks Radio. Also, remember, go to my website for more information about my podcast, blogs, books, football tips, and free PE games. Go to www.coachstonefootball.com. Also, I recommend when you go to my website, go to the bottom of my website for all the promo codes of all the products I think that would help you as a coach or a player. You'll hear them during the commercial breaks on this podcast. Remember, if you haven't seen any of my books that are called the Back to the Basics Football Drill Manuals, I highly recommend them. They are on Amazon.com, hardcover and Kindle. There are currently 11 football books out. There are tackle books, one flag book, one tackle bar book, football clinic notebook, mom's edition book, and also the junior edition. Over 2,900 pages of football drills and content. Again, this is Coach Stone Podcast number 38. The rundown is very simple. We'll invite our guest on in a second. We're going to have a pregame. They're going to talk about themselves for a little bit about their product. We'll have a kickoff question. We'll have a first drive question. Then we'll go in for halftime, a kick return question, a second drive question, and then 2-minute words of wisdom from our guest. And then that'll be the game is over. So without further ado, what I'd like to do is introduce my next guest on Coach Stone Podcast, Bill Shafer, representative of Launchpad Products. Bill, are you on?
Yes, I am, Coach. Good to talk with you.
Hey, thank you so much for this time. I apologize for all the technology thing. You know, with everything going on, it was just hectic, and I appreciate you coming on tonight.
You're so welcome.
Okay, let's go pregame really quick. Very simple, Bill. Tell us about yourself a little bit, and then just what I want you to do is tell everybody about your social media for your Launchpad product, okay? The floor is yours, sir.
Very good. I appreciate it. Well, you know, I'm just an average football fan at heart. I love football since I've been a very young kid, but I was smaller than most football players. So I took up kicking. I'm not a soccer player, but I love the game of football. So I learned to kick and punt, and it served me very well. I was even too small to play in high school, but after high school, after the service, I got into college football, and I just love to kick a football, and I'm going to do that for the rest of my life. But along the way, you know, we really started watching back in the 90s and seeing how some of these professional football players were kicking the football. I remember Gary Anderson. I don't know if you remember Gary Anderson, Coach. You're probably too young for that. Yeah,
no,
well,
I do. I remember, yeah.
Oh, okay. Very good. Well, he used a forward lean when kicking field goals off the ground. And we were very curious about that. Very puzzled. And we started doing some experimenting. And what we found out is that when you lean the ball forward, it actually extends the length of the trajectory segment of your foot as it travels through the football. And it transfers more power into the football. So you don't even need to exert as much energy as you normally do to get the same amount of power. And we learned that from Gary Anderson and Steve Christie and some of these other guys back then, but there was no football tee that allowed for a forward lean.
Nice.
So we started working and molding and making forms, and we came out with this prototype, and it really worked. And at 46 years old in 2006, I used this prototype to try out for the indoor arena leagues here in Canton, Ohio, and I got drafted by the Erie Freeze. Nice. Up there in Pennsylvania, and I got cut the first day at camp because I was older than the head coach, and we had a nice laugh about that. And I really wasn't in the position to play professional football, nor am I today at 60 years old. But the Launchpad Kickoff Tee has enabled me and people that use it to experience tremendous gains in both hang time and distance. And it's been a pleasure to be working with this thing and then to just release it. Last October, sales have been great.
Awesome. And do me a favor, if someone wants to go like your Facebook, like your Twitter, follow you guys on Instagram or watch your YouTube videos. Please don't tell them what's on the YouTube because we're going to talk about it later in the show. But
Okay.
can you give them the, like, if you don't mind, like, what's your Twitter handle for Launchpad?
That's at Launchpadkickofftee, and the
Okay.
T is just T, not TEE. There weren't enough letters.
Got
so
it.
it's Launchpadkickofftee. On Instagram, you can find us at Launchpadkickofftee, and then also on Facebook at Launchpadkickofftee.
Okay. And then do you guys have, you do have a YouTube channel too? Or
Yeah,
no?
we do have a YouTube channel,
Okay.
and if you look at Launchpad Kickoff, that's really all you need. But we've got several
Perfect.
videos there as well.
Okay, so let's do this now because you touched base on it with the whole thing and everything like that. Okay, so what I want you to do is pretty much the kickoff question for you is this: tell us about the product, Launchpad Kickoff product, and how can a coach get one from you and from where, by using your website or whatever. But tell us more about the tee. The floor is yours. Go.
Okay, good. First of all, just to get a Launchpad Kickoff tee, you can always go to www.launchpadkicofftee.com, and then also Wizard Sports carries it. And I understand, Coach, that you'll also have a link on your page coming up here within the next week where you can buy a Launchpad at a discount, and we appreciate
Sweet.
that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's coming your way. The Launchpad Kickoff tee, we designed it with this forward lean concept in mind because that was really intriguing for us. But that's not an easy kick to make. It's not going to teach someone how to kick if they don't know how to kick. You really need to be a proficient kicker to be able to use a forward lean. What we discovered, though, is that this tee, it enables the kicker to access a full 360 degrees of power. It has the most severe angulation options of any tee out there, and all that means is that you can place the more ball set angles than any tee that's out there. And the reason that's important for a coach or for a team is because especially in the 21st century, this is a more complex game than ever, and you need to have strategies and the ways of kicking the ball that weren't available before. We have dial-up squibs, and you can see this also on YouTube on our video, Squib City, where you literally can dial in by the angle, whether you want a coarse roller or a fine roller or a reverse kick or a wedge kick. Essentially, you can do more types of kicks with this tee than any tee that's ever been developed before. And that's for a coach that's out there and let's just say you're a coach and you've got a kicker that's developing, you're in high school and he's not able to put it into the end zone yet. Well, this tee, while he's developing, will enable your kicker to have all kinds of strategic options that he never had before, whether they're squibs or very creative onsides or even launch high short balls or long drivers into the wind. This tee is the most versatile tee that's ever been developed.
That's pretty sweet because for me as a former special teams coordinator at the college level, I was always trying to come up with like different ways to go here with the football. But this tee, it sounds like you're saying, can just go anywhere. Like you could place it many different angles. Is that right?
The Launchpad Kickoff tee allows more angulation than any tee ever developed before. And even though we developed it to be a forward lean tee, which is a very good thing for kickers that are accomplished and just want to get a new edge, what we discovered is that let's say you're a high school coach and you've got a kicker that's developing and he can't put it in the end zone for a touchback yet. Maybe he's a sophomore, maybe he's coming up.
Yeah.
Because you've got all of these angles, suddenly you have a full strategic arsenal of angulation for squib kicks, onside kicks, pooch kicks, high short kicks, drives into the wind, all kinds of kicks that were never available before. And let me ask you, Coach, do you golf?
Yeah, I do. When I play bad, I get my money's worth because I'm all over the course.
So you got to get your money's worth.
Correct.
The wedge, the wedge is a very, very important club. And it's not about distance, and it's not even about hang time. But because this tee allows you to see the entire ball, just like the golf wedge, you can clip the bottom of the ball to create tremendous backspin. This is designed to go 15 to 20 yards over the front line of receivers, catch especially on artificial turf, and create backspin so it comes back. It's a very difficult kick to field for the receiving team, and it's not available with other tees. And because of that, we're discovering all kinds of kicks just like this that are available that just simply weren't available before.
Awesome. Well, let's do this. Let's go to commercial break. We'll come right back, and then I got a first drive question for you. Does that sound like
Excellent.
a plan? Awesome.
Great.
Coach Stone podcast number 38. I got Bill Shafer, representative of Launchpad Products. We'll be right back.
Safe contact, sound fundamentals. Tackle bar football is a safer approach that preserves the tradition and fundamentals of the football game. What is tackle bar football? Tackle bar football is a safer approach to the game that preserves the tradition and spirit of the sport. Players wear traditional football equipment plus a tackle bar harness that holds 2 foam bars across the lower back. The defender must attract and engage with a proper form tackling technique while wrapping the ball carrier and ripping a bar from the harness. With this approach, players stay on their feet rather than taking the ball carrier to the ground. Tackle bar.
Coach Stone podcast number 38. We are back with Bill Shafer, representative of Launchpad Products. Coach, right now I'm ready to kick a ball. Okay, we did a kickoff question. I'm ready to kick the ball. I have a question for you.
Okay.
How can football kickers use this Launchpad kickoff tee, and then how can they benefit from this product? Because we don't know. Like I'm sorry, Coach. I don't know if this is like green lighted through high school, or do you have like any national programs that said, "Hey, you're good to go"? So if you don't mind, I don't mean to throw it at you. The floor is yours. Go ahead.
No, that's an excellent question, Coach. We get that all the time. That's probably the question that we get asked more than any question out there is this tee legal to use on field for high school? And can you use this in NCAA?
Yeah.
And the answer is yes. We've made our appeals to the NCAA, and the way they say it, it's not approved because they don't want to like give an edge to anybody else. You know, they want to remain neutral. But what they do say is that our tee is compliant for the rules that are out there for NCAA, and then also for high school, making it legal for on-field use. So we were very, very happy about that. We have made an appeal to the NFL. The wheels in the NFL move really, really slowly. There are many, many things to consider. They have not turned us down. Our tee is compliant and legal according to the rules, but it just has not been approved for on-field use in the NFL yet.
Got it. And then has like I think there's a national federation, like state high school association. What did they say about your tee and stuff? Because you said the high schools you can use it too, right?
Yeah, that's the National Federation of High Schools, and we have a letter. If you look on Instagram on our front page, you'll see both of those letters from the NCAA and from National Football High School.
Okay, let's do that again while we're still talking, please. Because here's the thing: when we start doing podcasts, we start talking. We started about the pregame, and we talk about all the social media stuff. Tell everybody again, because if the NCAA has approved this, like you said, and then the National Federation of High School has approved this, and someone's listening to this and they play in those things, and this tee is great. And I'm going to tell you, by listening, if you're listening right now, the tee is pretty good, because what we're going to talk about later, you're going to see a YouTube video that it's going to blow your mind away. And Bill knows what I'm talking about, but let's not, I'm not going to try to steal your thunder, Bill, but
Thank you.
So give us all your social media again, so they can like your Facebook page, they can like your Twitter, they can like your Instagram. Go ahead. What are those again?
Okay, thanks for that, Coach. On social media, first of all, Twitter, you can find us at Launchpadkickofftee. T is just the letter T at the end. Then on Instagram, you can find us at Launchpadkickofftee, and then also on Facebook at Launchpadkickofftee. And we have a YouTube channel, which if you just type in Launchpad Kickoff, it'll take you to our YouTube channel where we have 5-6 videos or so.
Awesome. Perfect. Okay, Coach, let's do this. Let's go in and get some water. We didn't have to kick a field goal at the end of the half because we were already up by a lot. Because with your tee,
nice.
we didn't have no runbacks on kickoff anymore because you kept kicking it through the end zone, especially when you kick it. And we'll talk about that in a second. But we'll go into halftime. We'll come back with the kickoff return question. Does that sound like a plan?
Awesome.
Perfect. Coach Stone podcast number 38. Bill Shafer on, representative of Launchpad Products. We'll be right back after halftime.
What legacy will you leave as a coach? The three-dimensional coaching framework empowers coaches at every level to fulfill their transformational purpose by helping them become fundamentally sound, skilled at coaching the mind, and focused on developing the heart. Are you needing to take courses to meet professional development or recertification requirements? If so, check out the different online 3D coaching course offerings at 3dinstitute.com. You can even take the 3D coaching course for 3 graduate credits. Make sure you use the coupon UNITEALL to save 10% on your entire cart. That's UNITEALL, no spaces, all one word, at 3dinstitute.com.
The Big Four, a physical education book written by Coach Anthony Stone, can be purchased through the following locations: Amazon, iTunes, BarnesandNoble.com, and Kobo.
Go Army Edge Football is a free game-changing app that allows coaches to draw their plays with X's and O's like on a whiteboard, and then get the mental reps from the first person's perspective of any position on the field with real-time 3D graphics or virtual reality. Go Army Edge Football comes preloaded with many example plays and drills for concepts such as formation recognition and RPO reads. Any coach in any system can benefit from demonstrating in Go Army Edge Football, and every player can become a better football player with extra reps in the app. Go visit them on their Twitter or Facebook. Insert at Go Army Edge.
Brunch, $30.
Hey, that's okay, Wendy. That was a good carry. You're still the man. You're the man.
Latte, $4.
Shake it off, Johnny. Rub some dirt on it.
New piano, $3,000.
All right, guys. They're not saying boo. They're saying movers.
Supporting your team. Priceless.
It's all right, Bobby. You still got the best arm in the neighborhood.
There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard.
This is decaf, right?
Coach Stone podcast number 38. We are back from halftime. I have Bill Shafer on, representative of Launchpad Products. Coach, here we go, okay?
Yes.
So, kickoff return question. This is great because you should actually kick the ball through the end zone here, Coach, okay?
All right.
Tell me, and this is a great thing for it, tell me how your product, I know you said it earlier a little bit, but like I remember when I was little, I'd buy that one tee where it had the 2 poles, and then after I kicked it a couple times, it broke in half. And then I've seen those other ones where they're like the rubber ones with the orange thing sticking up, and they got the lines in there. I never know why the lines are there. So maybe we can talk about that later, not on the podcast. But please tell me how your product is different from yours. Go
Okay,
ahead.
that's a great question. I really appreciate it. For the last 20 to 30 years, it's like every single tee that's been developed has a cup mounting structure where the tip of the ball fits down into the tee and the tee holds it. And it's done a pretty decent job, but it limits the angulation that you can try to get. And also, maybe you've seen this in games. It's embarrassing when on a windy day, the ball will fall right out of the tee. And then you've got to like grab one of your guys to come over and hold the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And you've actually decreased your coverage significantly.
Yeah, I
10%.
don't like that at all. I don't like that at all.
You know,
Yep.
so our tee has a number of advantages. One is, and you see this on Instagram, we had some kickers do some experiments that are not from Launchpad. They just did this, and the ball just sits there. Great backward lean, and it just sits there in the wind. And they had 3 or 4 other tees there, and the ball just kept falling out, but not with the Launchpad. And that's a tremendous advantage. But also, the Launchpad allows for that forward lean that no other tee will give you. Now, there are some ways to get a forward lean using some of those other tees, but you have to turn the tee around backwards, and then it's a lot of work to get over the top of the back end of the tee to get to the ball. And you can actually injure your foot. I don't know if you ever injured your foot with an impact injury, slipping and kicking a tee, but it hurts.
Yeah. The one thing I like about your product too, the one thing is like, it's like kind of like golf, like you said earlier. You have that, you can hit that sweet spot so much easier with your tee. It's amazing. And, you know, the one thing I can't believe is some of the videos I've seen with you guys doing it and stuff is just the distance or the height or the hang time or just in general, everything. With the other brands, you know, like you said, they've always been like the same way. And now they've modified them, you know, where other ones have. But like you said, they always have that cup in there. So,
Yeah,
but your product doesn't have no cup, right? It's just like, explain it. Is it flat? For people that aren't like going to your website right now, they should be going to your, what's your website so they can go to it right now? What's your website?
It's www.launchpadkicofftee.com.
Perfect. Okay.
And
so tell me about that thing.
It is flat. It's a flat surface. And really the rules call for a flat 1-inch platform. And that's exactly what this has. But the mounting apparatus on this tee is 100% completely flexible. You can squeeze it like a sponge. It's a wonderful, you can kick the tee and it doesn't even hurt you. But because the mounting apparatus is on the front, that's what and it's flexible, that's what allows for a forward lean and a quick, sweet, easy release. And we have seen massive gains in distance and hang time, because you're right, it really does expose the sweet spot like never before.
That's awesome. Well, let's do this. Let's go to commercial break, and then we come back. I got a second drive question for you. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. Coach Stone podcast number 38, Bill Shafer, representative of Launchpad Products. We'll be right back.
In business for 30 years, Collegiate Sports Data is the most reliable source of high school football prospect information. We are a free service for high schools and athletes. Our focus is getting the right players in front of the right colleges. www.collegiatesportsdata.com.
Coach Stone podcast number 38, Bill Shafer, representative of Launchpad Products. Coach, here we go. Second drive question. This is the one I've been saving, and I saved it for last. So here's what I want to know. Please tell everybody about your video kicking a football with your product 70 yards. It's on YouTube. I want to make sure we post it. You know, if you know the title of it, please tell me it so they can all search it. But literally, you kicked it, and when you kicked it, how old were you, sir?
It's 59 years old at the time of that kick. Yeah.
59 years old, right? Soon you're going to be 60. And we talked earlier on the phone. You said you're going to kick the ball. You're joining the 60 for 60 club, even though you're probably going to kick it over 60 yards, right? So
I'm sure. Yes.
Yeah. Right. So tell me about like the whole thing. Like tell me about like when you did it, you know, how many steps were you back, you know, boom, boom, boom. You kind of like I watched the video a couple times because it's like one of those things you had to see it to believe it. And my son watched it. And the first thing he said is, Dad, can I get that if I ever play kickoff? And I'm like, son, if that works, we're getting 10 of them. Okay. So, so here we go. So Go ahead. It's your thing. Tell me about the kick. I didn't mean to like say that I'm going to buy 10 right away, but go ahead. Tell us about the 70-yard kick. Go ahead.
That's really cool. I appreciate it. You know, that was where that kick was done was at my alma mater, where I graduated high school at Green High School here in Ohio. So we went there. They've got a great field and they usually have it open. So we went there to do some filming because, I mean, frankly, when we first started, we couldn't get anybody even look at this because they just thought all kickoff tees were the same. And that's what we kept hearing. Yeah. So we just decided to go there and do this demo ourselves. And I've been working, I'm old, so I just kept working to get to where I needed to be. And when we went to the field that day, we had great conditions. It was, if you watch the film, it was great conditions. We had people there working out and we were just feeling it. My previous long kick prior to that was 64 yards.
And that's with your tee, right? That's with your tee, correct?
No, that was with a ground zero.
A ground zero tee.
Yeah, with a ground zero. So that day we took the tee out, and this was right after we just went into production. We just got a bunch of tees back, and this was a new batch of tees, a new durometer, which is the softness of the tee. Mm-hmm. So this is perfect tee at this point. It's the first time that we had this perfect tee, and we went out there to kick, and I'm telling you, the ball just was flying, and it's been flying ever since. And when we got it was actually 71 yards. It cleared the back by about a yard, and we just couldn't believe it until we looked at the film, and there it is. And it's given me new confidence. It's given me new hope that even though I'm old, I can still make gains with the Launchpad Kickoff Tee. It's really been a joy to kick off of this thing. And
here's the thing I want everyone to know. When I watch a YouTube video, I had to watch it a couple times, right? Because one, I had to see if it was like super windy, right? And if it's super windy, you'll hear it in the microphone, but it wasn't that, right? And then
No,
when you kicked it, it just like, it flew off. It's kind of like when you hit a golf ball. That's how I'm going to say it. And I don't mean to use it as a golf ball reference. I apologize, Coach, but you used a golf ball. You talked about golf. You must have hit that ball in that sweet spot, and that thing flew. And
it did.
No matter what your age is, or if you're a kicker and blah, 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 you know, the one thing I would say is this. If Coach can do it here, Coach Shafer, Bill, I would definitely try it, because myself, I know when I get mine, I'm going to try it out just to see it, because I'm going to test it between the old school orange NFL tee that I remember that I still have when I was a little kid, with the 3 little prongs and the 2 little things sticking up and the little lines on the bottom. I'm going to kick that one off, and then I'm going to use your tee and see which one I kick farther. And the first thing what happened was 2 things. My soccer player, my oldest, Jade, she was like, Dad, I'm going with you. And my son's like, I'm kicking first. So I said, we're doing it once we get those. So
Nice.
That's awesome. So do me a favor. We've
Yes.
been talking about it all time. Give me your website one more time so people can go to it and look at your website again.
Okay, it's www.launchpadkickofftee.com.
Perfect.
Yep.
Awesome. So what I want to do is this, Coach. We're going to go to commercial break, and then we're going to do our 2-minute words of wisdom, and then that's it, okay?
Excellent.
Perfect. Coach Stone podcast number 38, Bill Shafer, representative of Launchpad Products. We'll be right back.
Do you preach about ball security? Is getting better each day something you strive to do? Do you want to work to eliminate fumbles? The High and Tight Teaching Football is a revolutionary design football that encompasses virtually every method known to eliminate fumbling, thus maximizing your opportunity to be victorious. The High and Tight Teaching and Training Football is state-of-the-art patented football that gives athletes and those around instant, audible feedback when you are holding the football correctly, high and tight, thus closing the gap between the wrist and the body and the elbow and the body. Whether you're a player, utilize the wing tee carrying with 2 hands over the ball, or a pro style against their body, High and Tight provides an audible alert when proper hold is executed correctly. Start to create habits that win games with teaching your players how to carry the ball high and tight. Order yours today at highandtight.com. Use promo code Coach Stone to save.
Coach Stone podcast number 38. We are back from commercial break. I got Bill Shafer, representative of Launchpad Products. Coach, here we go. 2 minutes, words of wisdom. The floor is yours. Go.
All right. It's just this simple. When you're transitioning from the launch pad or from your old tee onto the launch pad, we have a recommendation, and that is just simply this. Set your tee up, your old tee up, set the ball the way up that you normally do, and then match that exact same ball setting on the launch pad. What this does is it demonstrates that the launch pad can achieve the same lean that any other tee does out there and gets you used to kicking off of the launch pad. Once you become proficient, then you can turn the tee around and try all different kinds of angles for all the different kinds of kicks we're talking about. And that's a very solid piece of advice. But really what I want to talk to anybody about, Coach, that's a kicker out there is the system of fat cats. And it's really how to be successful as a kicker and a player, and it's how to be successful in life. And fat cats is simply an acronym that demonstrates and lays out how to be as a player who's being coached. This is what coaches are looking for. And fat cats stands for this. It stands for be faithful and available and teachable, and then be committed and accountable and be a transparent servant. And if you can manage those 7 characteristics into your character and into your being, you'll be the perfect employee, you'll be the perfect athlete, you'll be the perfect person, you'll be a student of life, and you'll be eagerly looking forward to doing everything you possibly can to achieve your goals under the direction of people that are working to help you. And so that's what I want to offer is be fat cats, faithful, available, teachable, committed, accountable, transparent servants, and you'll never go wrong.
That's awesome. Bill, that was awesome. Do me a favor, because here's what I'm going to do too. Once you tell them all your social media again, I'm going to make a comment about your product. And then that's really important that people can hear. And then we'll call the game over, and then we'll sign off. Does that sound like a plan?
Sounds good.
Please tell everybody the Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and the website again, please.
Okay, Twitter is at Launchpadkickofftee.
With just a T. With just a T,
the letter T. That's correct.
Perfect.
Instagram is Launchpadkickofftee. It's all spelled completely out. Facebook is also Launchpadkickofftee, completely spelled out. And then on YouTube, you can just type in Launchpad Kickoff. If you type in Launchpad Kickoff that'll take you to our YouTube channel as well. And then our website is www.launchpadkicofftee.com.
Okay, perfect. Bill, thank you so much for being a guest. To me, all the coaches out here, I'm telling you this thing, what I saw Bill do on this field in Ohio, it was amazing. Now, I'm not saying you're going to be able to kick it 70 yards or anything, but if you are that coach where you kick the ball off, and you always kick it to the wrong guy, the guy deep, and you're trying to get that ball over this guy's head, or you're trying to do something different with the ball, you might want to check out this product. I don't care if you're in the United States. I don't care if you're overseas. If you ever had a nightmare in a kickoff program and you kick the ball off and a nightmare happened and you still have regrets of that game, this is an investment you might want to look into. Bill, thank you so much for being on Coach Stone Podcast number 38. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, Coach. Anytime.
Coach Stone Podcast number 38. Bill Shafer, representative of Launchpad Products. I want to thank JC Hawks Radio, JC Hawks Sports Network, and BJ for letting me do this. If you ever miss an episode of any of my podcasts, you can listen to them on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, Google Play, under JC Hawks Radio. Also, remember, go to my website for more information about my podcasts, blogs, books, football tips, and free PE games. Go to CoachStoneFootball.com. Also, I recommend you go to the bottom of my website for all the promo codes of all the products that I think that would help you as a coach or a player. Some you'll hear during this commercial break on this podcast. Remember, if you haven't seen any of my Back to the Basics football drill manuals, I highly recommend them. They are Amazon.com, hardcover and Kindle version. There are 11 football books out, 6 tackle books, 1 flag book, 1 tackle bar book, a football clinic notebook, a mom's edition book, and also a junior edition. Over 2,900 pages of football drills and content. I'll leave you all with this. Always remember instilling confidence by laying a foundation. Thank you very much and have a great day. Coach Stone Podcast number 38.
Coach Stone Podcast.
I can't see